Let me have you shrug your shoulders for me. Good job. And turning your head forward all the way. Good, and then back. Good, to the side. And the other side. Now let's take a look at that.
You can, because it was the smallest caliber bullet at 22.
Yeah.
So
You healed up completely over it. You can really tell. I think this might be it, but seeing these x-rays?
No, I don't. I never have really looked at them.
Wow. And how many years has it been since this?
See, 76, so 31 years.
Wow. And you were shot from the left front?
I was left, yes, from the front left of my neck.
This program raises questions. This program is for people who find it hard to trust God. The best answers are wrapped in flesh and blood. My friends, people who are enduring real tragedies every single day. Quadriplegia, muscular dystrophy, stroke, bankruptcy, loneliness, singleness. We're going to talk to those very people who have touched my life. Everybody has a role model of inspiration. Some people look to a favorite teacher or coach. For you, it might be a much-loved relative or friend. Well, my role model of inspiration is Vicky, a quadriplegic like me. In 1976, Vicky was shot in an attempted rape, and her assailant got 3 years in jail, while Vicky got the rest of her life in a wheelchair. And her journey from bitter despondency to the most vibrant faith in Jesus Christ, I tell you, it's nothing short of miraculous. She and I have been friends for many years, and Vicky's the one I call whenever I need an encouraging word or need someone to pray. Vicky inspires me, and I have a feeling that she's about to touch your life as well.
You have 7 cervical vertebrae, okay? And this one is the 5th one. So here's your 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th. And basically, you can see the fragment. These are the little white chips that you see. Those are all the fragments of the bullet itself. So it took that. And it went between probably the disc, and it went through the foramen, which is where the nerve comes, and that's probably where it transected it, between C4 and 5. Oh. You know, your diagnosis is C4, C5 quadriplegic. And so, but it looks like your bullet is now, you know, trapped above, up at the 4th level. But it actually went through between the 5th and the 4th.
Yes, please.
No, I have to come back because my bag isn't.
Thank you. Boy, it's bright out here. We're going to Chatsworth, where I was shot, the building to where I was shot. Now, I haven't been back there in 30 years, so this is going to be an experience. I was living in Hollywood, California with my son, who was 18 months old, and I needed to work. I had just been laid off from a job, and I went to an employment agency where they sent me to a secretarial position that had been advertised as a wonderful position with great benefits. Almost did not go to the job interview because it was a Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and just before the weekend. But I thought, okay, I'll go to the interview, get it over with, and start looking again Monday. This whole area has changed so much. This was the last street I ever drove on. Yeah, right here. This street right here.
This isn't it.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Still looks the same.
Which building is it?
Keep going. It's, I think, let's see, it's not this building. It's, I think, keep going.
This looks like a new building.
See this new building, I think that's where it was. Oh no, it's down this alley right here. Wow. Yeah. All the way down at the end.
It is creepy.
See, I walked down. It's the very last one. Yeah. Right down here. That's the office I went into.
That door?
Yeah. Right here, guys. When I was walking up to the door of the place where I got shot, I had what I today know is the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, "Get out of here, Vicky. Get out of here." And I did not listen to that inner voice, and I stayed. The guy behind the desk just looked me up and down and said, "Are you here for the interview?" And I tell you, that was a chilling, ugly moment in my life. I felt completely naked in front of him. And I knew that he was checking me out. I felt it. As a woman, you know these things. I remember the look, and I remember the way he smelled.
How was that?
He had a very strong body odor. So he said, "Let's go to my office." And I walked in front of him, and as we got halfway down the warehouse, he grabbed me from behind. He threw me against the wall, and I was so shocked. It was the last thing I ever expected. That I was like, what in the world is going on? Right in here. This is where I came in. And when I got my composure and I looked at him, all I could see was the gun pointed at me, and he's shakingly telling me, "I planned all this, I planned all this." And I said, "You planned what?" And he said, "I planned this," and the gun went off, and I just felt myself spiraling down to the ground.
When is the first time you experienced your body couldn't move?
That's a good question. Well, I know the first time that I sensed I couldn't move was when just after I was shot, because my attacker tried to lift me up off the floor, and he couldn't get me up, and I couldn't hold myself up. After being shot, he grabbed me from under my arms, dragged me into a bathroom that's in there. When I was laying on the ground in the bathroom, I heard a woman's voice coming from outside of the bathroom, and she was talking to Stuart Goldwater, and I thought, Lord, it's now or never. And I started screaming, and she burst through the bathroom door and came in and said, "Stuart, what have you done?" And they were like, "We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do." But once they got me into the car, and once they started driving me, I thought, I have to go for my life. So I said, "Please just take me to Northridge Hospital. It's just down the road." Yes.
So you convinced these people to drive you to the hospital, and you were conscious the whole time?
I was, until we got into the emergency room. I tell you, from there, I don't remember too much.
What made you determined to live?
I truly believe my son, knowing that my son was at my mom's, that's what I kept focusing on, that he was. And I just kept asking God, please, don't let me die, please. Están súper ocupados. I think we should go in here. It's right in here. Go inside. Rancho Los Amigos was one of the best known rehab centers in the United States back in the 70s. I did not like it here, and I did not want to be here, and I wasn't going to cooperate at all. I had physical therapists who wanted to help me, who wanted to teach me how to drive my own chair, and I just refused to do it.
Then, okay, so if we're going to use the lift, you want to do the lift first, or you want to do the other stuff first?
Well, why don't you go ahead and just like measure me a little bit?
Okay.
And then, I didn't want any adaptive equipment. A mouth stick, someplace where I had to have something between my teeth to write, to turn a page. No, not for me.
Make sure you don't get clobbered in the face.
What's a black eye?
Well, talk about vanity. Okay. So I'm going to lift you up a little bit just to take the weight off and then make sure you're okay. Okay? If it's bad, we'll go back down.
Yeah, no problem.
If we're good, we'll go.
I came out to a courtyard like this, and would just sit out here. Had a specially adapted little machine where I could just reach, smoke, and just sit here and dream about how I was going to leave and walk and be okay. This whole nightmare would be over.
Slide. Hold on. Yep. Got her? You good?
That's good. I didn't care who did it. If it was God, if it was a miracle worker, if it was magic potion, I did not care as long as I walked. I'll be able to drive myself anywhere I want.
And tilt yourself so that you can do your pressure relief independently.
Recline, as I recline in that chair when I was in the van.
Actually, it's a little different.
Does this recline? I had people read my cards. I had saints touch me with oil. I had black magic. I had white magic. I had anything you can think. I tried.
And they were saying that someone was asking for the...
Vicky was kind of stuck in a spot where she wasn't getting out of bed and doing anything at all, and I asked her why, and she said that she was more or less waiting to be healed from her paralysis.
Okay, so it's your turn. What subject?
Are you the winning team?
First grade math. Challenging. See that? First grade math.
And I said, I totally believe that God has the power to heal you. But what if he waits till you're 99 years old? What if it's his timing? Then you're going to waste all your time with your raising your son. And so I helped her starting to get up and started getting out and living a more normal life.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
What language is spoken the most by people from Cuba?
I know. Let's think about it.
Let's think about it.
And when Reina, who was a friend of Joni's, started coming over to my house and inviting me to a Bible study and getting me up and driving me and taking me to Joni's house. That's where the Lord began driving me home.
Okay, it's our turn to answer.
And only through watching people like Joni and others who were being independent and who were having active lives did I start saying, hey, okay, so I made a deal with God. I said, God, I'll give this wheelchair a year. And if I can drive it, I'll stay in it. And I did.
Fourth grade social studies. Or you can't.
119 IQ here, please.
When I was a boy, she had just enough space on the side of the bed where I could actually lay right next to her. And I would always put either her arm or my arm on her, and we would just, sit there watching TV. And it progressively went from the bed to the floor, where I would put like a little mattress down, and I would sleep at night with her sometimes, or be able to spend time with her. But we'd always find our own ways to make that connection. So
Arturo was a good little boy. He always reacted to her. He always came when she called, but he was missing out on a mom being really a part of his life.
And to me, you must have been about 8 or 9 years old, and you would just not listen to me. And I kept saying, Arturo, listen to me, listen to me. And you wouldn't listen to me. So I said, Arturo, come closer, mijo. Mijo, come closer. Come closer, Arturo. And just when you did, I went like this, and I grabbed your cheek. Do you remember I kept your cheek with my teeth as tightly as I could, and I said, are you going to listen? And I wouldn't let go. Are you going? And you looked at me with these two big brown eyes, and you said, and I let go, and we went on to go shopping. And a lot of times I have things to say, and you.
There have been many instances in my life that I think through her power and prayer and the people that the team that she has in her prayer have looked out for me. And I know. So makes sense for the
Oh, are we careful?
actually the sea lions are still there.
Oh, let's see.
Let's see if you can see them. This over here is easier.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you, Lord.
Palos Verdes.
Where is Palos Verdes?
Let's see right here. See up there?
I live a very ordinary daily life where I get up, I go to work, I come home, I go to sleep. But it is an amazing amount of work that people have to do for me to be able to get to that point on a daily basis.
In the beginning, she was very, very, very sad, big depression, you know. She doesn't want to live. She doesn't want to do nothing. And then after a while, she started, you know, to change. That situation starts to change, and she became the person that she is now, that she is very sure of herself. And that's when she started learning about how to handle the computer with her mouth and all those things. Answer the phone, you know, and she's doing very good job, and she's working, and she's doing a lot of things, you know, and she's enjoying life again.
You're looking at my favorite uncle. So that's who it is. Well, I tell you, not going back to where I got shot made me cry and that, but talking with him, very special.
What does it make you cry, Vicky?
Just to remember how special Rivas and his whole family is to me. They've been very, very supportive of me. So, and this always happened. So, so let's continue to party. On to the next subject. Yummy? I need a tissue.
Again, I don't think we got enough.
You were too fast. Thank you. Here in the kitchen. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's better. So, thanks.
Do you believe you truly forgave this man who did this to you?
The day that they brought this man into my hospital room for the preliminary hearing, and he stood at the feet of my bed so that I could identify him. The Lord said, "Are you going to forgive him or not?" And I chose that day, on that moment, to forgive him. And it's been like a weight off my shoulders that the Lord has taken. I live completely free of any fear or anger toward the man who shot me. The best part about knowing God is knowing what He's done in my life and what He can, if I can show somebody else what God has shown me, then everything's been worth it.
What do you want to show someone else?
I want to show somebody else that the peace that I have, the freedom that I have, and the love that I have in my soul, they can have it too. They don't have to be physically able to do anything. You don't need to be able to move. It's all within your soul. That's where God changes your life. That's where He heals. And that's where He is. That's it.
I remember when Vicky was first coming to some of our Bible studies, and we read from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, where it says, our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. I was like, say what? You mean the Bible thinks that quadriplegia is light and momentary? That did not comfort Vicky, and you can understand. I mean, who wants to think about eternal glory? We want God to make things better right now. Well, when the Bible tells us to consider our troubles as light and momentary, It simply has a different perspective. And friend, perspective changes everything. Troubles are only light when you compare them to something a lot weightier, like the eternal glory those troubles are achieving. So what could possibly outweigh Vicky's pain? Well, how about joy that lasts forever? How about peace of heart that sees you through absolutely anything? How about a rock-solid purpose that keeps you moving forward? And how about knowing, I mean really knowing God? Not to mention knowing that you're on the winning side, that one day you're going to be up there jumping and applauding and cheering while God finally closes the curtain on death and disease and wickedness. And knowing that you'll be at Jesus' side when finally the whole universe acknowledges that yes, He really is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Every time Vicky and I trust God in our wheelchairs, we are achieving, we're building up, we're accruing that kind of eternal glory. And man, we've got treasure in heaven. For Vicky, these eternal things far outweigh not feeling and not moving. And I'm not saying that quadriplegia is a light thing. It only becomes light in contrast to the far greater weight on the other side of the scale. And although I would not normally call many decades in a wheelchair momentary, it is. When you realize that we are but a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Friend, Vicky's perseverance through paralysis is paying off in eternal dividends. And what about you? You don't need a bullet through the neck to grasp that kind of end-time perspective. I mean, you got your own suffering. And the point is, don't waste it. Don't waste your time blaming others. Join Vicky, join me in trusting Jesus. Join us in believing that there's an eternity that awaits us all, and your hardships can make that eternity more wonderful than you ever dreamed. Oh, and one more thing. It goes without saying that there are plenty of people like Vicky, like me, who do not have this perspective. And Joni and Friends is bending over backward to help disabled people grasp what the Bible really says about suffering. We want people with disabilities and their families to understand that God's worth trusting.